The Rebel Scum Podcast. Available in video on YouTube and audio wherever you listen to your podcasts. Every week, Brock and James talk the latest rumors, news, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. Support us on Patreon for exclusive offers and join the Star Wars discussion. Patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
You're always scum. Rebel Scum.
Rebel Scum. Okay, goodbye.
Podcast.
Rebel Scum Podcast.
Podcast.
My name is Brock. His name is
Brock. James.
Oh, yeah.
Had you fooled for a second. You were like, oh. Or as Heidi likes to call you, broke.
Broke.
Bro.
That was good. That we said it at the same time, and we're not in the same place.
We're close.
I'm sure.
Though. Very close.
Yeah.
Hey, I gotta ask you. Winter storm. Jezebel is coming. Or it's here. I don't know. How's it going in your neck of the woods? Are you snowed in currently?
Well,
Are you like Mickey Mouse in the house, snowed in at the House of Mouse?
let's look at the security camera because I have several now.
Ooh, look at you.
The world cannot be trusted. Hold on, let me flip it. Hold on. Oh, I've been meant to send you a picture of my mom and I having a video call, and her phone's like here, like your dad,
Amazing.
like years ago.
Amazing.
I keep meaning to forget to send that. So that's what it looks like outside my house currently. It's not terrible.
Right.
If you see
Okay.
right here, these little spots, that's where the salt underneath that I put in preemptively is melting the snow. And I hope it doesn't like melt and freeze, because shoveling that when there's that layer of ice under snow, yikes. For all our listeners that are not in a place that has snow, don't move here.
It looks like I have more snow, but it has snowed less. The storm has snowed less. I went outside just before recording to lift the windshield wipers up on the car.
Oh, I forgot.
And I was like, oh, there's no snow. Like it was like just like a light dusting, and it wasn't even on the windshield or anything yet. So if it wants to maintain this throughout the rest of the night, I am fine with that, because there's like 2 feet of snow, maybe 2.5 feet of snow outside as is where I live, that will not go away. And I hate it.
Yeah.
With a passion.
Snow.
Like the soap opera Passions from 2000. I hate it. With the Grinch. Remember, Little Grinch was in it.
The little Grinch, yeah. Good times.
And Heidi is bragging that it's only raining where she is.
Unbelievable.
Star Wars.
Star Wars, Snow Wars. We are day 20.
No wars.
2000 of the Star Wars drought. Andor is still a what do you call those things?
Fever dream.
Fever dream, yes, but also, what is it when you're in the desert and you think you see something? An oasis.
A
Mirage. This
Mirage.
is just a mirage on the horizon. Yeah.
I was gonna say we should be sponsored by Mirage in Vegas, and they should put us up for like a weekend.
Yeah.
And we should. I know it's April like 20th or something. Like, Happy Easter, watch Andor. I feel like that's how it's gonna be. They'll put it on. They'll put like the first episode on Good Friday, and nobody will watch. And I mean, everybody will watch. Everybody's home. I don't know. I think it's gonna be a good season. Season 1 was a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough show to. It's tough to get excited for it, because I'm really looking forward to it, but it's not like a movie, It's like, I'm looking forward to it, but like Erin doesn't care about it. She doesn't care. She doesn't even know there's a second season coming of that show.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I'm really excited for it, but like it's like I mean, also there's been no marketing for it yet. Which is, which seems to be like their MO over there. They're like, well, oh yeah, the show's coming out a month before, it'll be like 3 weeks before there'll be an Empire magazine and I'll be interviewed. And then the day before they'll be like, how come nobody knew it was coming out? Because you didn't tell anybody, jackasses. That's why. So we'll see. We know it's coming out. We'll talk about it.
It's like, but we announced it at D23 and Celebration. I thought that was enough. No, it's not enough. Put it on the internet.
We announced it to the people that were going to watch it anyway.
Yeah.
How come? I mean, Disney Plus is losing apparently subscribers like I lose hair.
They're being twisted like this by 8-year-olds.
Like you understand.
That's just showing it's like I listen to your stories.
Yeah. I have a problem. But no, I mean they're losing. I don't know. Anyway, I don't really know. I just think we're in this weird time too because of Acolyte's failure, even though apparently it's the number 2 watch show on Disney Plus last year, whatever. And nothing makes sense anymore. Like the numbers weren't good. Because nobody is on Disney. Like, how do you stop spending $300 million on a show? Maybe that's just make movies, man. I honestly, Star Wars, just make movies. Just make the movies. And I'm glad that Mando season 4 is just going to be a movie because it probably should just be they should just make movies. Yeah. Just make movies. Actually, you know what they should do is make movies. And then use the show to like do what Clone Wars did and just beef up the movies for the diehard fans. Yeah. And everybody else that doesn't care just is like whatever. Like that to me, that's like what's a good example? And I haven't seen this show, so maybe it's not, but the Falcon Captain America show that came out. Because for me, I saw the movie and he said, hey, you're Captain America. Yeah. And now the Captain America's movie and he's Captain America. So I'm like, oh, that makes sense. But if you watch the show, you get like a nice little extra nugget on how that all kind of plays out. Whereas I don't need it, but it's a little nugget for the diehards. And I think I feel like that is the most perfect way to utilize the Disney Plus series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like really true. The show is good, but like you really only just miss out on like he gets the Captain America Falcon suit in the last episode, like the thing that you see in the comics is like, but it's like doesn't you could be like, okay, he has a new suit, like Captain America has a new suit in every movie and we just don't need an explanation, so
but it's a little aside if you're a diehard fan, right? Like it's like
it's too bad because it's like it might have been the failing of the Marvels that you watch the shows to understand exactly what's going on, but like maybe do the reverse, right? Like just make a movie about the character that we already know about, and then I don't know. Still like that movie, but anyways, like I don't know.
I haven't seen the movie, but I've heard people who have seen it, other than a couple, most people seem to be like it was fine, like that feeling. But going into it, I remember hearing a lot of people be like, they felt like they had to do a lot of homework and they didn't want to watch this and watch that. And my argument though is I understand that. I understand if you're like, these were characters on a Disney Plus shows and now we're going to put them in a movie with a character from a movie and it's a sequel to a movie that had nothing to do with these other characters. I can understand people not really caring about that or relating to that or wanting to go watch that. What annoys me and what does not make sense to me is when people were mad that Grogu got back with Mando in the Book of Boba Fett, and they're like, I didn't want to watch the Book of Boba Fett. To me, it's like, okay, but like a Disney Plus series and it's Star Wars, they should all I just feel like those are one story. I mean, they're not anymore, but they were just one story, especially at that time. And it's weird that you're just like, I'm just not going to watch these 6, whatever it was, episodes. Yeah. Because of it's like, to me, that's weird. Like, that it's it's connected to this thing. So why would you just not watch it and that's why I think that the title of these things is also a problem. But so I understand like going from one to the other is an issue, but when it's all in one, I don't get it.
Yeah, and like it's just a weird thing to complain about because it's like at that point all you have is the Mandalorian. So it's like,
Yeah.
and there were two good seasons. Like, why wouldn't you try the new show? Like, I guess if you watched the show and then like jumped off before you got to the Mando episodes, but like, I don't know. Is it really that hard to watch an 8-episode series?
I think it was was Boba Fett 8 or 6?
I don't know. It wasn't long. I
Yeah, it
know
was
that
like
I jumped on Severance this weekend and watched about half of or almost over 3/4 of the first season. So it's just like, and those are definitely 50-minute episodes. Like,
I saw a tweet the other day, and somebody said that Apple was like taking over HBO in terms of like the series and the quality of the series, because they have a lot of winning stuff on Apple right now. I haven't seen Severance because I don't watch. I watched Wolfman.
how was that?
There wasn't one full moon in it, Brock. You know
They
what?
blew
It's
it.
getting. I talked with Rob about this. It was getting. It got destroyed by critics and audiences. It's not that bad. It's not. I thought people were like, it's really. It dives into the horror, and I was like, and werewolves are like my number one fear. And I didn't get. I wasn't really scared. The opening scene goes on way too long, but but it's probably not. But it was. I thought he directed the hell out of it. Like I was like, I almost gave Aaron a bruise from suspense because you're like, something's happening, something's gonna happen. When's it gonna happen? And you're just, when you're just waiting for it to happen, but you don't see anything. And you're just, and it's. I thought the opening was done really well. It gets repetitive at the end, and the endings you predict like the two endings like 20 minutes into them. Like it's very early on. You're like, oh, that's how it's gonna end. And then those are like the weaknesses of it, which I think is why people didn't like it. But it's not very scary, and he doesn't ever really look like a werewolf. So it's like Thriller is scarier than Wolfman. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha. No,
but
bad.
it's way better than people. It's way better than people say. It's not. It doesn't quite get to like great or
Nice.
You know. I know you're a big horror guy, so I just wanted to give you the heads up.
Horrors.
Whoa.
Yeah. Horrors. What were we even talking about? Oh, people complaining about Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Why does it have to be? I'm not gonna wait for this long. It's like, just say the thing isn't for you. The thing isn't for me, so I stop watching. There's nothing wrong with that. People have a hard time understanding. It's like, maybe it's just not for you.
I've done that on a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So it's just like, and then when it's not for you, you don't have to get on a soapbox and tell everybody why it's not for you. It's just, I didn't like it. Easy peasy, done.
You know what my least favorite trend online is? I think it might
that?
just be a Twitter thing, maybe Facebook. Is when people say they give you 4 options, like only one, you can only have one, the rest have to go. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
F you. You're trying to start a fight, and they don't have to go, and I'm going to enjoy all 4 of them. Even Avatar, what I can't stand. I'm just for the spitingness. I'm going to say I love it. Screw you. I can't stand those. We're like, one of them has to go. No, they don't. Ever. I'm going to watch Harry Potter followed by Lion the Witch and the Wardrobe. Suck a nut, because that's what I'm doing. So good. Yo, Greta Gerwig got Narnia. Apparently it's going to be rock and roll. And like, I'm like, what? I think she's not doing the Lion Witch and the Wardrobe, though. I don't think that's what she's going to adapt.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, there's like 90 of them. They're all good, though. I think they're all pretty good. They're not. None of them are as good as Lion the Witch and the Wardrobe. Let's be real. Santa Claus.
He is in there.
He is in it. Yeah. All right, let's talk about the relevant. Like, can Star Wars remain relevant during these dark times? And I thought of this because there's no toys. Kids apparently don't play other than my daughter. Kids don't play with toys anymore.
Interesting.
So I got into it from toys. I know a lot of people like older got into Star Wars from toys. The TV stuff isn't really for them. It's not really
Yeah.
for kids when you think of it. The movies, who knows? But we're still what are we, a year away from Mandalorian group for another Star Wars movie on the screen. We're over a year away from that, and that's just one. We have Andor coming up, which is not going to relate to kids whatsoever. And I'm using kids because I think that's who you have to you have to target if you want to be relevant, because they're going to become adults. Like, if we didn't like Star Wars growing up, there wouldn't be 400 million podcasts about it. So I just thought, like, what do you think Star Wars can do to remain relevant without a ton of shows and without movies coming out?
They should definitely make more movies.
That 100% agree.
It's hard to think of like what exactly will get the new generation or just new viewers interested in Star Wars, because it's like you can't really compare it to the original trilogy and it dropping in the 70s and 80s and then later in the 90s. When did it get remastered and put in theaters?
97.
97.
97.
Because it's like, you're right, toys was a big part of it, right? But also it's just like, I don't think they make movies like Star Wars. I don't know how to say this. No, it's not a matter. They make movies. There's movies out there like that do what Star Wars did for the new generation. If we're just looking at younger kids, right? Of like, oh my gosh, I have never seen that. Like, there's always a movie that when you see this type of movie for the first time and you love it, like you equate everything to it, right? So it's just like, I have like a couple favorite authors. When I read their first book, I love all their books, but the very first book, when it like grabs me and I'm like, I have to read the rest of their bibliography or whatever you want to call it, I always equate it to the first one, right? So it's just like, it all depends on which movie that falls on. But it's just like, in the 80s and 90s, the ratings were like kind of a thing, but not really. You know what I mean? Like, think about all the movies we watched as kids that were never appropriate. You know what I mean? Like, I watched Road Warrior on TV by myself. Nobody stopped me. And I probably shouldn't have watched it. And I probably was 10 or 11, right? I mean, I'm like, this is awesome. And then you try watching Mad Max, and you're like, this is not as the same. So I don't know. I mean, I don't have kids, so I can't really relate it. But you know what I mean? Like, it just like, and also like when we were young, like science fiction movies were just like, well, just scare kids. Who cares? You know, like the Goonies. Like, you would never see a movie like the Goonies outside of like a Stranger Things, and that is an homage to the Goonies. But the Goonies isn't really kid appropriate when you think about it. It's just like, there's things that could really trigger kids. Like, we worry about triggers now and anxiety, right? So it's just like, I think that era of like the 1970s to the late 90s was a time where, like, no disrespect to our parents or parents in that era, it's like they kind of just let us do whatever. It was just like, look both ways when you cross the road, but watch whatever you want on TV, right? So it's like, I don't know what that is now in this world. Do you know what I mean? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I don't. The one thing with Skeleton Crew that I liked was that it kind of brought that edge back to the kids' stuff, but they used Star Wars for it, right? It was like, so are kids even going to watch Skeleton Crew because of that? And do they like, the stop motion look, the puppets? Like, do they like that stuff? Like, I know it's tough. I know with my daughter, what my plan is I'm going to make her watch, although she's already seen some stuff, but I'm going to make her watch like 2D animation, like the cringiest crap I can find. And I'm going to make her play Nintendo and then Super Nintendo. I will force her upon her will. but like, I feel like if I can get those in, then there's an appreciation for like what comes after. And then when I say, hey, let's play Mario World, it's not gonna be like, oh, like, that looks so bad. It'll be like, oh yeah, that's nostalgic. And I feel, and there's, I don't know where I'm going with that, but that's like how I kind of see it. But Star Wars is like, do we bring them in? But either way, like Disney has to find a way to keep it relevant for viewers. And it's almost like, I was thinking about, because Star Wars Celebration Japan's coming up in like a month or so. And I was thinking about it. And I was like, there's the podcast, what's it called? Booth or what? No, the room. What's it called? What are the rooms called? Panel. The panel. There's a podcast panel that they've been doing for a while, right? Where people just go in and they do their podcast there. And then they have other panels. I was thinking like a friend of the show, Din from F105, like he has a panel at like Fan Expo, and and it's like, it's almost like they're using us to keep them relevant because they can't figure out how to do. You know what I mean? Like it's like they like Star Wars, not you and I, but Star Wars fans as a whole are what's keeping Star Wars relevant. But is that enough to keep it relevant for casual fans? Because you hear like casual fans aren't like Star Wars used to be. Think of Force Awakens coming out. We were jazzed to see it. But it wasn't just us. Remember that theater? Everybody there was excited to see it. And not everybody there had or was going to have a Star Wars podcast. Like our friend Daryl was there. Marsha was there. Like these aren't Star Wars fans, but they were like, the hype got to them. They're like, I have to go see what this is. And I don't know if Star Wars can do that with even a Mando and Grogu movie. I don't know if that hype level will be there. Maybe it will, because we're all dying for on the screen, but I don't know how you get that back without leaving for a decade.
Yeah, that does what you said there about when we went to a theater and it was full. And then, of course, like when you go opening night, you're going to get applause when that Lucasfilm comes up. If we get a new movie in the next 2 to 3 years, will we see that return to form in the theater? I definitely would want to be like, go on opening night and then go a week or two later in the middle of the week, because like it'll premiere on a Thursday or Friday, right? And then go see it on a Wednesday, like a Wednesday or a Monday, and see what the audience is like. It's hard to say because it's just like, well, like it's like the thing is, it's like it's Star Wars. Like you'd have to have 50 years pass of no movies where people are like, if you said Star Wars to them, they'd be like, "What are you talking about?" Like it's just like it's too ingrained in the zeitgeist to not be understood. So it's just sort of like, I think people will always go see it, but yeah, it's just sort of like no one's clamoring for it.
Yeah, I agree with that. But we were clamoring for it for a while.
For a while. Now I don't know. That's the thing. If this is 10 years ago, different scenario.
Yeah. So is it Disney Plus to blame for that, or is it the hated sequel trilogy?
No, I think it's just the lack of movies, which I guess can be contributive. Like it didn't do well the last few movies, but like, I just, I think like, because it's like, if you're just a person that sees the movies, whether they put 1 or 17 shows on Disney Plus, doesn't matter to you, right? Because you probably don't watch Disney Plus. You probably don't have Disney Plus, so it doesn't occur to you, right? It's not in your worldview. So you're just like, oh, I haven't seen a Star Wars movie since Rise of Skywalker, right? Yeah, Rise of Skywalker. And it's just like, when are they going to make another movie? Or maybe it's perfect for those people where it's like, oh, a Star Wars movie, I'll go. Like it's.
Mm-hmm.
When was Rise of Skywalker? When did that come out? 2019. 19.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is exactly, but like you're right. Like it's just sort of like it's for it being owned by Disney, and it makes like million or like multi-million-dollar box office. It's still in a sense a niche thing, kind of. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you see someone with a Star Wars shirt, it's like, well, they're a certain person, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I can look at you and totally understand your mentality without even hearing your voice. So maybe it's like maybe we live in a world where like the thing that used to be niche is still niche. It's just they put money in niche now. Oh, maybe I'm crazy.
Yeah, and like niche isn't what niche was necessarily. Also,
Yeah.
like it's a little bit bigger and makes more money. Nerd.
Yeah, there we go.
I see how there. I do go out though, and I do see like I got my passport recently, and there's like 2 or 3 people at the passport office with Star Wars shirts on. I was somewhere once, and someone had all these Star Wars tattoos, and I was like, "Who are you?" And Aaron is just sitting there like, "I can't go anywhere." And I think the thing though that will keep Star Wars going forever, even if everybody on the planet ends up hating the new era of Star Wars, so let's say the next 3 things that come out, everybody despises and basically kills Star Wars, is what a Jedi is, and Yoda will always be a Jedi, and everyone will be like, "Oh, you're wise like Yoda. Oh, you're like a Jedi." Like I feel like phrases like that's part of our culture, and that no one could kill. Now that nobody could take that away. And you hear that, like Aaron will watch like some weird show. I'm like, "What are you watching?" And they'll mention it. And again, she's like, "Well, I can't get away from Star Wars." I'm like, "Well, it's been around for 50 years and it won't go anywhere." We also live in a weird time too, because I was thinking like, I remember like I love Ninja Turtles, but remember Ninja Turtles came out and then they just disappeared for like a decade.
Yeah.
And then they came back with that like new cool cartoon and they changed the theme song. I'm like, "What are you doing?" And then they kind of went away for like a year, like a couple years, and then they came back. Like they won't go away. Like things, I think because we've never had it before, but IPs just don't go away anymore. Like they're here for, except for He-Man can't seem to figure it out. But like they're here for like ever. Someone make Thundercats, but like because it's just like we're in like this weird time when like they would make movies and then the movies wouldn't. Maybe they get a sequel, but then sequel wouldn't be called part 2; it'd be called whatever until Godfather, and then like they would just be forgotten and then remade with Steve Martin years later. Daddy's Little Dividend. We've talked about this, and it's just I don't know. Like the world has changed, culture has changed, and now we can watch everything all the time, whenever we want, however we want. And guess what? It's not streaming on Netflix. Is it on Disney? Is it on this? Is it on that? No. Is it on YouTube? Somebody will have it somewhere. You'll be able to find it. And we've never had that. Like when we were kids, it was like you watched it, and unless you taped it off TV, it was gone until that rerun came on in a year or 2. Like it was gone. And now it's like, I missed it. I plan to miss it. Psych. I'm going to watch it tomorrow. I don't know. And
No, what's wild? It's Wednesday as we record in our live. So the new Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I don't even know what the title of the new Spider-Man is, but I love it. There's one of the episodes, and this is not really a spoiler for the episode, just something that happens in the episode. The Peter and his friends hang out, and Aunt May leaves. He's like, because she's like, one of the storylines is like she's cleaning out their storage because like I think Uncle Ben has died recently, and she's trying to get over that, right? So she's like cleaning their stuff. It's like, oh, here, have a movie night. Here's all your uncle's VHSs. And there's a scene where like the younger, because these are high school students currently or in the MCU universe, so let's call it happening our time. They're like, how do I use this VCR? And they push a button, they freak out. And I'm like, yeah, if I showed a VCR to my nieces, and I'm sure when Selena's a little bit older and you can say, hey, try to use this, she'll do the same thing. They'll be like, what is this? And it's like, oh, right. I mean, like that's just being young, but like a certain generation probably like, what is a VCR?
What's funny is she has this, it's like a game, but it's basically flashcards in this game. And they have a telephone, but it's an old school, like,
yeah.
I was like, at first I looked at the card, I go, that's a weird choice. I'm like, let's see if she knows what it is. I go, what is this? And she's like, I'm like, what is it? I go, it's a telephone. She goes, and then she grabs, like, she sees these and she knows these are a phone, but she also has a toy version. Somebody gave her like a cell phone that's a toy, and she goes, oh, like, I thought it was so strange. And this game's not old; it's like 2 years old, and like,
yeah.
And the picture is a phone that I used when I was a kid. I was like, how is anyone going to know what that is? So yeah, it's the same type of thing though. She just looked at it with this blank stare like him. Then I said it was a telephone. It was like, why are you lying to me? Like, are you serious? Ben 2017. I miss those days when we all had a VHS copy of Return of the Jedi that my dad started recording 5 minutes into the movie. I grew up thinking it started at Jabba's palace. My New Hope had like half a crawl in it. So
yeah, like when you had to figure out the tracking on a VCR,
oh my god,
you were on the Millennium Falcon. You're like, I gotta fix the hyperdrive. No, I'd give anything to watch an old VHS recorded from the TV and have commercials. Like that is a time capsule right there. You're like, yipes. Oh, funny enough, fan of the show, friend and fan of the show. He never listens to this. Dwayne Nerona sent me a clip. I don't know if he sent it to you on Instagram, where it was like, I don't know if this is a joke. It's like they showed
the beer,
it shows A New Hope in Chile, and they didn't want to like cut it for commercials, so they just edited commercials into it. So it's like, I have this for you from your father. It's a lightsaber, but he opens the thing and it's beers and a jingle.
Arguably makes it better. Arguably makes it a better movie.
I'm like, I want this to be real, though it's the internet and you can't believe anything. But it was just perfect. It's like we're still there. Hello.
Yeah, you disappeared on me, or I disappeared on you. Somebody disappeared, like the Invisible Man.
Is it still recording on your end? Because mine says recording error. Ah, there we go.
Yeah, it's still recording on my end.
All right, perfect. Yeah, so I don't know. It's just like, it is strange to think like, it's like when you talk to your parents, it's like, oh, this used to be what our life was like. Is now us to the newer generation is like, we could only watch one type of Star Wars on a thing that we could buy at the store. It's just like our privilege is so weird.
Yeah, how times have changed, and now we're the old folks. Yeah. Care of the old folks home. That's us now. That's
absolutely.
Odds?
Let's do it.
Ability of successfully navigating an asteroid field is approximately 3,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
Never, Mando and Quill.
Never tell me the odds. Brought to you and me and everyone listening by patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast. If you like what we do, why don't you head on over to patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast and support us in any way you can, because that would be fantastic. Because even though there is no Star Wars to talk about, we want to talk about it. None. I don't even look at the news anymore. Surprise, there's no Hollow news. We still want to talk about Star Wars. At the very least, we want to get
the Rey movie, man. The Rey movie.
We haven't even got to that. So yeah,
it's happening.
Why don't you go to patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast and help us support the Rey movie and become one of the many few that we call out every episode, like Heidi Feder, executive producer, Barry Brophy, Dennis Allen, Sooner Thrawn, Randy Kenobi, Mary Kristen Aton, Dale Erdman, Phil Staniforth, Rez, Scott D, Josh Price,
Matt W, Frank Perkins, Neil Lowry, Cosmic Girl 02, Gleek Play 1, Denim Nerds, Disney, Desi, Charlotte, Ron Prasak, and Jeff Wilson. Ray and Ben will return in 3019. Mark Ben's words. Heidi, when I was your age, if we wanted, whoa, hello, okay, you know what? That is inappropriate. Brock, just a heads up, my Google Chrome might crap out on me. I just.
Uh-oh. Will he come back? This is the fun part of the show where we don't know if James will come back, but he's frozen, so it looks like he's here. Yeah. I will open up the thing and see what the odds are. So wait for James to come. Oh, he's come back. Oh, wait for it. Wait for it. Oh, it's just me, and here he is.
I'm
Boom.
here. Oh, it's gonna crap out again.
This is the best. This is the best. This is the best. So, anyways, we'll go into the odds. The first odd we have: the Rey movie will be the best Star Wars movie. Everyone in chat shouted out, so I have someone to talk to. That's gonna go full Brock on that, because like we don't know what it's about, when it's gonna happen. There you go. You're here now.
I'm here for. We don't know.
Boom. All right, I just did the first odd.
What is the odd? You said it without me even knowing. Oh,
the Rey movie will be the best Star Wars movie.
Best Star Wars movie. I'm gonna go with 97%.
Heyo.
Here's why. For two reasons. One, it probably won't happen. But secondly, the reason why I say it is because we never come back to check these things anyway. So
I wish
the reality is there's no way it's going to be the best one ever, and nobody's ever. I feel like even if we got the best Star Wars movie, nobody will be able to say it's better than Empire Strikes Back anyway. Like that's just, like I was saying, how about this with this new Superman movie? I'm like, this could be the best Superman movie we've ever gotten, but people won't be able to admit it. Like it's just probably they'll probably be like, it's not as good as the 7. And maybe it, or like, and then the Snyder fans, but it's not as good as Man of Steel. It's just not as good. Like, you know what I mean? Like we just can't admit these things. So, so even if it is the best, we'll never admit it. But I'm going to go 90 whatever % I said, because we don't double check these things. And you're right, we should, but we do not. What did you give it?
Full Brock, because I'm like, I don't know anything about this movie.
I came in when you said you don't know anything about it. I know two things about it. Daisy really keeps answering questions about it. She has never seen a script, but she knows the story. I want a movie about the writing of this movie. That's what I want.
What is Daisy Ridley up to now? Like
talking about this movie.
Like, what movies does she have on the horizon? Like
she's always in like weird little movies, like the one that was on Disney. One that was on they're always Disney and Hulu. They seem to really like Daisy Ridley.
I love this Star Wars New Jedi Order. She's gonna be Rey. I don't think I actually heard the title. I'm sure that might just be a working title.
I think that's the title they've been talking about. I don't know if it's official or not, but everybody seems to be calling it that. I just feel like there's going to be changes going on. Never tell me the odds. From executive producer Heidi Fetter. Heidi says, what are the odds we get some sort of major character from the first 6 movies of the Skywalker saga in season 2 of Andor?
Major character. I can see a minor or like microscopic character for showing up.
Well, we already got a Mon Mothma.
Yeah. I mean, so like you could just say 100% because Mon Mothma is going to come back. She's a character. But like thinking of like original cast, maybe a Han, but how are they going to put Han in? Even though they could just put Alden Ehrenreich in and they'll be like, oh, but like, look out, internet.
Which was the rumor. Remember when Solo came out? There was a rumor, or Rogue One came out. There was a rumor that there was going to be like an ending with him as Solo in it. Yeah, I think he's done. I don't think he's ever coming back as Solo. No. I think that's
So I'm gonna go 60%. I want it to happen, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Solo would be great, but it wouldn't. If they did, I mean, they'd probably do AI Harrison Ford.
Yeah, I mean he's
That's what I
Red
think.
Hulk this week,
Yeah.
so.
I
That'd be
really think
fun.
that's what they would do. They would. I think Aaron Reich. I think everything to do with Solo is done. Nothing like even we can wish all we want, unless Favreau has the stones to bring somebody into the Mandoverse. I
Mhm.
think that's all done. Yeah, Bail Organa, Vader, Obi-Wan, Lobot, Leia, Cal.
I think
Cal's a bunch.
Vader's like the easiest answer.
I don't think you do Vader though. I think they stay away
No,
from Vader.
I want. Oh,
Like,
I when I read this, I was like, maybe Ewan McGregor, but like aged down Ewan
yeah.
McGregor, so he has to have white hair. That'd be sweet.
I don't know. Like, I don't think Vader makes sense though, because Rogue
Yeah,
One is when he first kind of gets wind of all this.
yeah.
Yeah, McGregor would be cool, and I know he wants to do more, and they keep being rumors that he's going to pop up and stuff, and obviously, Ahsoka season 2 seems to be the one he's going to be in. I'm going to go 21%.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, it'd be great, but I just don't
Oh,
think so.
speaking of Rogue One, all the way.
All the way.
remember that?
Was that even in the movie, or was that just a
No,
trailer?
it's just the trailer, and they made shirts. Are you with me? All the way.
All the way. Oh, fantastic. I don't know. Heidi actually, I'm going to change our last odd.
Okay.
Oh, because I copied and pasted the same one in here twice. Heidi sent another odd that I thought was actually brilliant. This is actually her third odd. So I don't know why I didn't copy the second. So the second one I'm going to save for next week because God knows we're going to need these. The next odd is actually her third odd because I really thought this was a neat idea. I'll let you decide which one you want. Never tell me the odds. K2SO we know and love is actually a K2SO droid, but with B2 Emo's brain.
Oh,
So it's actually B2 Emo is actually inside of K2SO. Yeah, I like this one. That's why I'm going with this one.
Heidi knows how to get to me immediately. I love that, and my reaction is 100% do that. Yeah. Odds of that happening, I'm gonna go with 30%.
Oh man, that's crushing blow. I'm gonna go 99%. Again, we don't double check these things. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I love the idea. It is L3 and Solo to the Millennium Falcon. Remember somebody had that rumor and then that theory and then it came true. That was awesome. It's very
Yeah.
similar to that. I love this idea though. Like, why have B2 Emo in it if he's just gonna disappear or whatever?
Yeah.
All right, we have a write-in from Ben 2017. Ben's been here the whole time, so we got to bring this one in. What are the odds of Leia, Luke, and Han in the Filoni movie?
I think anything's possible.
Like Kevin Garnett.
I'm going to say that's a lot. Like one of the characters is one thing, but all three. Let's go 46%.
Heidi's going full Brock.
Yeah. Like, ooh, you're like, I want this to happen, but I don't know if they'll do it.
I don't think they will. I'm going to go 11%. Not that I don't like the idea. I feel like the only way to do it at de-aging, that's the only way to do it is de-aging. And you have to there'll be different actors in there in their placeholders.
Yeah.
And you AI their voices. I think they stay away. I don't think they're going to use those characters anymore. I think those characters are also Also obsolete. They are the way of the solo characters. I think they move on, and I'm okay with it. I mean, we don't even know A, what the Filoni movie is about, or B, if
Yeah.
it's even going to happen. So, I mean, it was announced, so there's a really good chance it won't happen. Because I don't know if you've gotten this, Brock, but if you don't announce a Star Wars movie, there's a better chance that that movie gets made than one that gets announced.
Also, you keep saying Filoni movie, and I just keep assuming it's Mandalorian and Grogu. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
right,
no.
there's another movie.
Yeah, the Filoni one's going to take all the stuff. So
Yeah.
I like that odd. I like it. I don't think it's going to happen, but I am all in on that being the case.
Oh,
All in.
B2 emo as K2SO.
Yeah. I don't
Just
know how
kiss.
you just.
Put up that
Yeah,
one where Heidi.
I know. Sorry.
Oh,
yeah,
the
no,
throne.
I know you mean the throne. I know not Mando and Grogu. We know. Well, if it is a throne movie.
But
Who
I
knows?
forget because like
Yeah.
none of these things except for one movie has a title. Put up
'Cause
what
it goes
Heidi
away.
says before you put LOL.
That one?
No, up one, two more. You gotta give it up for Heidi. That's because I'm brilliant. So executive producer, she's the boss.
Yeah, well, she gave us another ride for next week, so
Nice.
she's got all the theories. Please keep
Yeah.
doing what you're doing. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
No worries,
Appreciate the
Ben.
support. Top 5. This is our very last podcast ever.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Oh.
Ah!
Remember when you did that to Andrew over and over again?
Yeah.
What fun.
Yeah, but that one, you were late for that show.
Yeah.
Andrew and I spoke beforehand and we planned that all out. That was all staged. Sorry to ruin the magic. We planned it all. Yeah, because I was like, Brock's gonna be late. So let if I have you on and then we just kick you. He's a good sport and he will never, ever be canon. Ever. The chat is going, no. Okay, yeah, it was just a joke. So top 5 also brought to us by executive producer Heidi. If you guys have a top 5 or odds, let us know. Send us an email, rebelscumbags@gmail.com. rebelscumbags@gmail.com. Or send a DM on Twitter.
Yeah, I love our email. Like all their social is like Rebel Scum Podcast or whatever, right? And then you were like Rebel Scumbags. I'm like, yeah.
Somebody has Rebel Scum Podcast Gmail, but like they don't do anything with it. Like I don't think they even read them because I've sent stuff there. Trust me, I have sent a lot there.
Just
like,
drop the podcast and add an S. It's cleaner.
Rebel Scumbags.
Rebel Scumbags.
Top 5 lightsaber moments that are non-battle moments. Non-battle lightsaber moments from it. My number 5 is going to be Ezra turning on the lightsaber in Ahsoka. Because there's just something about that. That was the moment where I was like, oh yeah, I missed these. Like it was just something about that moment that I thought they captured very well. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with that one.
My number 5 is the new kid on the block. Wim getting a lightsaber out and turning it on upside down. I'm like,
yeah,
they did it. I can't believe they did it.
Yeah. I love that moment. That might be coming up on mine later on. My number 4, younglings training with them and take your pick. And Attack of the Clones, Acolyte, whatever you want. Whenever a youngling is training with a lightsaber, I am like, yeah, give a child a weapon. This is good.
This is great. And
yeah,
you know what?
safe.
Don't train them enough to defend themselves. That's going to be important later. Too soon?
Your number 4, Brock?
My number 4 is similar to your number 5. I'm going to go Ezra in Rebels, but he turns on the a lightsaber he finds in that temple, and it's like the cross, the Ben Solo cross thing, and we're like, oh, that's gonna be that new movie, or that's in that movie. I was like, yeah.
So good. I like my number 3 is going to be Rey turning it on in The Force Awakens and using it as a flashlight.
Oh yeah,
because it makes sense. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, why not do this? How come it's taken us 7 movies to get to this point?
My number 3 is going to be Han using it to cut them out of the net on Endor in Return of the Jedi. And I was like, oh wow, a non-Jedi can use it. Crazy.
You might lose me in a second, FYI. My number 2 is Han using it to open up a tauntaun.
Oh, right.
This felt bad on the outside.
Oh, that's right. I thought Return of the Jedi was the first time. I totally forgot. Then there he goes. Are you back?
I'm here. I never left.
Perfect.
I never left.
Okay, perfect. Number 2 for me is going to be what Heidi said, I think, a while back. Bleeding the Kyber crystal in Acolyte. Granted, it's because she's going to murder somebody, but like, I don't know, just being able to see it happen on screen, I'm like, wow. And everything pauses, so they're not fighting while it's happening.
Am I at number 1 or 2?
I don't know. 2.
I lost count. I did. What are you on? What did you just say?
I just said number 2 because I thought you just did number 2.
So I'm on number 1 then. Number 1, when Obi-Wan gives Luke his father's lightsaber.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. And then he opens it and it's Cerveza Cristal.
But what a perfect scene. What a perfect scene. Heidi trolling us right now with Luke throwing it over his shoulder.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Oh, you forgot about it, but the internet did not.
No, I know.
You ruined Luke Skywalker, Ruin Johnson.
Ruin Johnson.
Ruin Johnson. He's ruined my childhood. He ruined Star Wars, and he ruined the Knives Out franchise.
He ruined my 30s. I was 30 when the movie came out.
Were you?
Yeah, sure.
What the hell Knives Out came out. Force Awakens. Wait, which one did it? Last Jedi is 8 years old now?
I think so.
Damn.
Wow.
Honorable mention, Rey touching the saber in The Force Awakens and having that wicked vision. Yeah, you know what? That was a cool concept that just kind of they just didn't do anything with it ever, and nothing in that vision ended up mattering ever again. But that is a great moment that I think sparked a lot of conversation and interest, and was like, "Oh, cool."
Yeah.
It's Luke versus the Wampa.
Absolutely. You know what? Like those little moments in movies, like we've mentioned, Rey touching the lightsaber and having a vision, and we don't know what it is, and we're like, "Oh my god, what does that mean?" Or I fought with your father in the Clone Wars. It's just something that captures your imagination. Again, I am pushing. I love Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man or whatever it's called, and they have a scene in the first episode that's just like one thing gets mentioned. You're like, what does that mean? And then they haven't gone back to it, but I'm like, it's coming. It's coming. They're going to do something. It's going to be great. I love those moments. You just like one throwaway line and you're just like, what? What does that mean?
I think I said this a couple weeks ago or whatever, but I think now that the dust has settled and it's been forever since we've had a Star Wars movie. Yeah, I love the Praetorian Guards, but they should have just been the Knights of Ren.
Yep. No, absolutely.
Like, it just, like, looking back now, I'm like, I think the Praetorian Guards look cooler than the Knights of Ren, but they should have just been the Knights of Ren. Because the Knights of Ren are useless. Like, just
all you have to do is like my Knights of Ren, put on your ceremonial gear, and that's it.
Oh, there you go. Boom.
Done.
Yeah. Well, those are our top 5. Thanks everybody for sharing your top fives in the live chat, and everybody else, let us know in the comments below what your top five are. Brock, we're going to wrap this up. Ben agreeing, yes, it should have been the Knights of Ren in The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
I think at the time I didn't really have a problem with that, but like now looking back, it's like, well, why wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, why weren't they? Just those weird decisions that have been made that you're like, there's just a little bit of planning, maybe
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
Think it up.
Anything else you want to say, Brock, to wrap up our 357th episode?
Wow. I will say this. Happy anniversary to James and Aaron. Number 10. Episode 10. I can't believe you guys have been married 10 years. I can't believe
Neither can she.
I can't believe it. It was last week. Congratulations to you. Congratulations
Thank you
for continuing to be married. I hope it was an excellent day.
It was. We shoveled snow off of our roof, which is something I never thought I would say. And our daughter is like 90% potty trained right now.
Nice.
But it's that 10% that gets you. It's like that little extra. It's when, we throw on a pull up for whatever reason, and then she goes in it, and then she's like, I'm going to change myself. You're like, she's an independent woman.
All the ladies
are
independent.
She is independent and drives nuts. All right, Brock, before we leave, we have to check the snow outside.
Check in the snow.
Okay. My thing is over there. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Heidi. Oh, there's more snow coming down. You can see there's like weird like streaks. That's snow coming down. The streakies.
This would be like if this was a horror film. It's like we'd show our cameras and then someone would just walk through the shot and look.
That is my wow. You're not. There's like no snow dropping, but you got accumulation.
I mean, if it stops in the next couple hours, we're jokes. I'll have to go to work tomorrow.
They've canceled everything around me. Schools are done. Daycare is closed tomorrow. Everything is closed tomorrow.
Yeah.
So my daughter walks up. Yeah, no, it's more than woods. My daughter walks up to me today, brings her little bowl, like slams it on my. This is her bedtime. Slams it on my lap and goes, "Dada, pizza." I was like, "What?" She goes, "Dada, pizza." And I was like, I can't just give you a pizza. Like, we don't have pizza. She goes, "Dada, pizza."
This is not how the Force works.
Yeah. She's like, can we make it tomorrow? She goes, "Dada, pizza." And I was like, you have to say, please, Dada, pizza. I was like, I don't have it. I don't. So we're going to make 3 pizzas tomorrow on her snow day. I've got dough ready.
Nice.
And that's her day plan. She loves making pizza. I don't know where she gets it from. But she absolutely, she loves cheese pizza, olives on pizza.
Ooh,
that's her. She loves olives like so much. But the best is I let her help me do pizza, so we do like the washing hands, which sometimes is a struggle. She really likes to fight that. We wash the hands, and I'm like, "Okay, put the cheese on," and she puts like a mountain of cheese in the middle, and then eats like half of it. Like, okay, I'll put the olives on, and like she'll put like an olive on, and then eat like 4 of them. I'm like, "Stop it!" And when I say 4 olives, I mean like I cut them like one olive,
like slice.
20. Yeah, like so it's like she barely eats one. But I'm like, "Stop it! We got to put on the pizza." She's like, "No." Okay, she's not that angry, but apparently where Ben is, it's cold and wet everywhere. Oh wait, pizza, yes,
pizza.
All right. Anyway, Brock, do you want to plug your podcast?
It's called the Rebel Brock Podcast, where we talk about. Aren't you glad James is in here? We're like, yeah.
It's time for a Broca talk. All right. The broadcast. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button. Subscribe. We'll see you next time. And next time, Brock may or may not be Scum.
Rebel Scum.
Scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.